Hello Exiles. The new league is finally here, and just like last league, I'll be doing a 0 to mirror challenge. This time, the build I'm going to play is Venom Gyre. It's a really fast clearing skill, which is the main reason I chose it. Since it doesn't feel great early on, I'll be starting with Cobra Lash and switching over once I get additional projectiles from the third lab. The last time I played Venom Gyre was a long time ago, so I'm not very familiar with this skill. I guess that will make things a bit more interesting, since it's not something I play often. Also, some people asked if it's possible to use other ascendancies like Warden or the new Assassin. Those can work too, but if you're planning to farm legions, Deadeye will be the best option. Nice gem. It's always good to get some extra currency before finishing the Atlas. Here's a bit more. I dropped 2 divines in my last campaign run, so this is probably as good as it gets. And here's the third lab done. With this, I can finally start using Venom Gyre. I just need to swap my main skill and add fork support. Campaign's done. Now the real game begins. But before jumping into maps, I'll buy some upgrades. 5 link body armor. And claws with high elemental damage. I don't have much currency, so this will do for now. I'll use my gold later to get a better one while running maps. Well, just a few maps later, I got this crazy weapon. It even has tier 1 crit chance, which means I can drop precise technique and start investing into crit damage. With these upgrades, my clear speed looks really good. Having crit chance makes enemies freeze more, so we get a lot of Herald of Ice explosions. Here's the first deck stacking claw I found. I wasn't expecting them to be rare, but it seems they're actually even more common now. This means I can actually swap to deck stacking even before starting Legion farming, but I'll need to buy this amulet first, which costs around 2 to 3 divines right now. I'm still spending my gold to gamble for new items, and the game keeps giving me really good upgrades. Anyway, this is how my early Atlas tree looks. I'm rushing Curak missions first, then map drop chance, and finally Guardian maps to complete my Maven invitations. I need at least 125 Atlas points to start farming Legion, and I will not get the last few points until I start doing some high-end farming. I heard this breach tree gives free 6 links, so let's test if that's actually true. Well, it actually is. I want to say this is a good thing, but it will probably make Legion farming worse since 6 links were the main profit on the first day. And here's the first big drop. Not even red maps, by the way. I'll buy a prism weave and save the rest of my currency for the amulet. I can finish the last lab now. This build usually struggles with red map bosses, and this final ascendancy will make it much easier. I was running some breach, and I sold a really nice shield for good currency. That means I can finally buy the Astramentus amulet. Let's finish the first 2 void stones and start switching to the deck stacking setup. Good. Let's go shopping. Fractal Thoughts. The best in-slot deck stacking helmet. Hand of Thought and Motion. I'll need 2 of these to dual wield. Gloves with dexterity and resistances. Rings with the same stats. I wanted to get some life on them too, but my budget is limited right now. I'll buy a heavy belt with fractured life and craft it myself using these essences. Nice. With these upgrades, my dexterity is over 1000. The boss damage looks good enough to start farming legions. Usually, I'd start with just 2 void stones on a random open layout tier 16 map, but some people are already selling carries for the last 2. I'll buy them and go straight into the Dunes map. I won't bother killing these bosses myself because it takes too much time, and I don't want to miss out on the day 1 legion farm. This is how legions look like. This build handles legions really well. 6 link armors are going for 10 chaos now, which means the main day 1 income is gone. Even without it, the strategy still works great, and just a few hours later, I got an inspired learning. This jewel isn't a build enabling item, but it will make running maps much faster, so I can farm currency more efficiently. I'll put this anoint on my amulet for extra damage. And the brutal restraint jewel. There aren't many of these on day 1, so I'll just use a random one with increased dexterity and a few other useful mods. Now I'll go back to farming more legions. By the way, this is what my Legion Atlas tree looks like. I was also farming Beyond alongside Legion, but it was a bit tough and slowed down my maps, so I switched to this instead. They nerfed Legion by making the map crafting option give 1 less Legion, but it's still worth farming. I farmed a lot of currency, and most of it came from fortress maps, emblems, some unique drops, and random currencies. This is what my stash looks like at the end of day 1. With inspired learning and other items, I was sitting at around 30 divines. Actually, that's a great start for day 1. On day 2, I began with some legion farming, and I feel like the new Breach Lord Ascendancy can push this build into tier 17 maps very easily. I had plenty of currency to try it, so let's go make some upgrades. I will start by getting the Breach Lord Ascendancy. This is the node we'll take. The important part is the first line, and to get that, we'll need the new ring bases. I'll craft them using the same essences, and I'm looking for an open suffix or resistances. These will do for now. I'll buy a corrupted brisk wrap and link it using tainted fusings. On average, this is cheaper than using normal fusings, but I ended up spending 6 divines on it. Lastly, the Breach Lord Ascendancy makes us ignore lightning resistance, which means any form of lightning penetration doesn't work. I'll change my lightning penetration support, anoint, tincture, and tree to get more damage. This is how the tree looks now. Before heading into tier 17 maps, let's see how the damage feels on the boss. It would be much easier with Cobra Lash, but for a day 2 budget and without headhunter buffs, this damage is still very solid. The farming strategy I'll be running is strongboxes. This is a high investment setup, and I'm going all in with my currency. I've never farmed tier 17 maps on day 2 before, so let's see how much currency I can make. Well, as you can see, strongboxes are really strong. Since this is only day 2, even the random currencies are valuable, and this is probably the best day 2 strategy I've farmed. It's really addictive, and I don't think I can go back to farming legions after this. The only problem was that I was dying a lot at the start and even lost a couple maps. Once I fixed my filter to skip bad modifiers and adjusted my playstyle, things went much better. I farmed this strategy all day. After selling everything, fragments, random currency, and scarabs, I was able to buy a headhunter by the end of day 2. I actually picked up the headhunter 2 hours late, because if I bought it earlier, I wouldn't have enough currency left to farm strongboxes the next day. So I farmed an extra 20 divines just to be safe. This is what my stash looks like at the end of day 2. I only have the headhunter and a couple of divines left to invest in farming. Now it's time for day 3. Headhunter is around 110 divines, and the mirror is only 160 divines. This means I only need to farm 30 divines today, since I already have some currency in my stash. To farm that currency, I'll just continue with strongboxes for obvious reasons. My plan was to farm dunes and fortress maps with cartographer scarabs, like I did last league, but map sustain seems even better now, so no one is buying maps. Anyway, I have a headhunter now, so farming these maps is even easier, and I can run through them much faster. So yeah, it didn't even take half the day, and after selling everything I got, I was finally able to afford it. Here it is. I want to say that I farmed it with an off-meta build, but this build somehow get popular, so I don't know if that's the case anymore. Now, let's talk about the build. It was actually a lot of fun and met almost all of my expectations. Cobra Lash usually struggles around red maps, but this skill didn't have any issues there. The reason is probably that you can't get clusters with Cobra Lash at the start of red maps, or maybe I just spent more currency on this character. This skill even carried me to tier 17 maps on day 2, which I've never done before. I usually farm legions for 2 days and only enter tier 17 maps on day 3 or after getting a headhunter. The only problem I ran into was with defenses during strongbox farming, but it was still manageable. For anyone interested, here are some numbers. I died 600 times last league, so this was actually better than the Cobra Lash run. That said, it's still a very glass cannon build. I'm planning to grab some upgrades to fix that, but that will be in the next video. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. I'll catch you in the next one.